Hello, Wrigsers. Welcome to episode 9 of the WRIGS Podcast, the weekly reflection, introspection, gratitude, and sharing podcast. And it's been a bit of a weird week for me, starting on the low side and finishing up on I'm not going to call it a high, but definitely feeling better the last couple of days. So let's just dive in, shall we? Starting with early in the week, and it's something that actually I didn't mention in the last podcast because it wasn't scripted. Whereas I've taken some notes this week, so it's going to be a little more organized. The the last couple of weeks, maybe, and especially towards the end of last week and beginning of this one, so including Monday, I've had a little bit of an imposter syndrome, I guess we can call it that. For those of you who don't know, I am working towards starting my own business, which will be a CrossFit gym owner. And I've had this little voice in my head maybe for the best of 7 to 10 days that keeps telling me that I'm never gonna make it, or that I will, but that it's gonna fail straight away and I'm gonna end up in debt, and that I don't have the experience, that I've got no idea what I'm doing. How am I gonna do social medias, especially social media? How am I gonna do the very technical aspects of running a business, and especially a CrossFit gym? And so this has been in my head a lot, and fighting it doesn't work. I know that from experience, that fighting bad thoughts is not a solution, because even if anything, it just feeds the bad thought with extra fuel, and they only come back stronger. So I've been trying to acknowledge it and to tell myself that it's normal to think we're gonna fail. It's a pretty crazy dream that I have. Might seem normal for some people, but to me, I've never had a business. I've never even tried to start one. I've only been coaching for about a year, a little more, but really proper coaching maybe for just a year. And yeah, it's scary. And when I see where I'm working right now, how they deal with things, I don't really know how to get there. And I know they didn't start by being perfect or being where they are now. And it took time. I mean, this gym has been open for 10 years, so who's to say it's going to take me not less than that, more than that. But when I think about it, I'm like, I'm going to open, but how am I going to do advertisement? How am I going to... I've got the biggest ideas, but some of my ideas, are they setting me up for failure, or are they going to be good? I kind of want to do things a little bit differently than what's around or what I know, because I want to have my own sort of signature, if I can say signature business or method, or the way that I do things. It's it's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? But that's what everybody who's ever started a business did. And then I also realized that I'm nowhere close to start. I mean, I think ideally the end of 2026 would be a very good, a big accomplishment, a big achievement for me. So it's far, but it's not that far. But I also have plenty of time to think about these things, as long as I get the ball rolling. So this is what I've been trying to tell me, that it's normal to think that I'm not going to be up to the task, and that I'm scared. I'm scared of failure. We're all scared of failure, but I think I will regret if I don't try. So to finish up on that point, if you ever have feelings of I'm never gonna make it, etc., they are normal. And that's what I'm trying to tell myself, that it makes sense. At some point in the near future, I'm gonna put my whole life in jeopardy and try something very unknown for me and hope for the best. So when you think like that, it's scary, but it's also what a beautiful moment this could be, and what it could create and what could come out of it. And I'm trying to think of all the good I can do with that business, and how I can help people bettering their life, their health, their physical health, mental health, all of the above, everything. And that'll be thanks to me. So yeah, I'm better. I'm still as scared, but I don't have this voice telling me you're not gonna make it, because it's too soon anyway. You can't tell if I'm gonna make it or if I'm not gonna make it. For what it's worth, like, no one knows, and no one will know, including myself, until I try. So the best thing I can do until I'm ready is to keep learning and keep accumulating experience, asking questions, better my skills, and better my trade, in the hopes that when come the due date, I'll be ready, or as ready as can be, and so I don't burn myself into the ground. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's kind of been the end of my week. So at the beginning of my weeks, this Monday, and then it was Tuesday, was New Year's Eve, which was pretty much work in the morning, chill out during the day, and then I drove all night those rideshare platforms, which was an experience. Originally wanted to drive from 5 p.m. until like 3 or 4 a.m. I ended up taking a little break around 12 because I was nearby some friends, and it was pretty quiet on the driving side, so it took half an hour for me, knocked at the door of my friends, and spent the actual countdown with them, which was great. It was good to be surrounded by people rather than just me in my car with strangers. Then I went back on the road about 12:30 until like 4:30 in the morning, which was very long, but I was trying to tick some bonuses to get more money, basically. It was an eventful night. Someone got sick in my car, and I was like, oh, should I just stop? And I got, no, think about you. Think about what this money is going to be for. This money is for me to be able to have the week off next week because my family is visiting. So I cleaned the mess and I kept driving, and yeah, I was tired, but in the end I made some good money over during the night, and now I'm a lot more at peace right now because of the efforts that I made back then. And so yeah, I mentioned that last week. I think about your future self, and think about future self looking back at you right now. Why would they think of you? And that helps, usually helps making the right decision. So yeah, glad I stuck I don't know, that I stayed up driving, I guess, and I didn't go to bed, that I went to bed later than what I wanted to, but it was worth the effort. And then on New Year's Day, I hang out with some friends. We went to a festival, a music festival here in Perth, heaps of drum and bass for the record, but yeah, just a great day, great day, good vibes, good music, friends. Very tired from the night before, and for the few drinks that I had on the day as well, but definitely a good day all around. During that, during New Year's Day, during the festival, I ran into the old flame that I was, funnily enough, mentioning last week, and we actually had a chat. And I think for the first time in like 4 years, I didn't feel insecure. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel bad or guilty or unworthy because of what happened 4 years ago. And that was very strange, but like straight away I was like, oh my God, like I can have a normal conversation without having this voice in my head reminding me of how unworthy I am, like it used to be. And that was very nice. It really felt like not something clicked, but I don't know. I don't know if you can say I'm finally over it. I don't think that's how it was, because I think I was already in some. I was in some way and I wasn't in other ways, but it was never about her particularly. It was about how I felt about myself, and I think in this moment I realized that how secure and how confident I felt about myself and my life and future me. Basically, I feel so confident about the behaviors that I have every day, that they are aligned to my values, and I'm not goal orientated, more process orientated. I know that I'm being patient with myself, and when I have bad thoughts, I acknowledge them with curiosity in a non judgmental way. And this is all the work that I've been doing in therapy, and how it's helped me being able to talk about, well, to be able to be confident in my own brain, my own skin in that moment, but also being able to openly talk about it with you guys, openly talk about things that were hurting me not so long ago, things that, and when I say not so long ago, I mean 4 years ago, but also as recent as a month ago, maybe, when I thought about it, I was like, I still had this sentiment of I wanted to get a revenge on it and prove everyone that didn't see me for who I was or who I could be, that they were wrong. And that feeling of revenge is gone. I mean, it's not fully gone. Come on. I think we all want to prove people that quote unquote wronged us in the past how big of a mistake they made, but they didn't make a mistake. They did what they thought was best at the time with the knowledge they have, and I'm a different person now as well. I'm glad all this bad stuff happened, because it triggered that growth cycle for me. That was the beginning of the rest of my life. As they say in the movies, like I've since that's when I learned that I needed to care for myself, because I had never did, and I needed to care for my future self. And this is why now I'm investing money, and I'm strong into my health and my mental health, and I watch what I eat, and I don't drink as much, and all of this started 4 years ago. And all the little reminders that I had all these 4 years, when I was sad for 6 months, when I started being better, when I was angry, when I wanted revenge, that motivated me to get better, even though fundamentally the reasons were bad because they were external reasons. Now I do it for myself. It eventually led me to a healthy relationship with myself. I'm not perfect. No one ever is. But whenever I'm not happy with what I'm doing, I can look at it in a non-judgmental way. I can also correct it, which is quite important. So yeah, it was just so nice to be able to have just a simple conversation without me trying a game plan to lure her into liking me again or whatever. I was just good to see you, and I'm glad you're doing okay. And yeah, it was just such a big haha moment, because yeah, I just had not had that in 4 years. So go me. um, However, and because it can never be as easy as that, um, I then did. I decided to I'd follow her again on social media, which is, I don't know. I don't want to call it a mistake. I think I was like, oh, it's good, it's great. Maybe you can be friends again. And I think there's definitely a part of me that's hoping it's going to start something from the past. It's going to revive something. And I'm not hiding from it. But I also know, I think not so long ago, I would have been angry at myself for thinking that. Whereas now I'm like, well, it makes sense. It makes sense that I would hope for the the fairy tale kind of movie scenario. It it may happen, but it's highly likely it's not gonna happen. And what I'm trying to say is that I am okay with myself thinking that it might happen. It's normal. It's just an old wound that's trying to heal the wrong way. Whereas the healthy thing is to realize that, yeah, okay, it makes sense that you want it. It makes sense to want the fairy tale, but it's likely not going to happen. And I'm happy with it and I'm okay with it. And I'm not consciously manipulating everything around me or trying to send an image of me that it's not the reality just for the hopes of that fairy tale. I'm going to be me. I'm going to stay me. I'm not going to go above and beyond like 4 years ago me would have done, like a year ago me would have done, like 6 months ago me would have done. I'm just very happy I can be in this mindset headspace. Grateful for all the work that I've done that's allowed me to be here now, being able to talk about it and analyze it. Again, with no judgment, without this little pinch in my heart that I used to have that was like, oh, it's the person that rejected you. Remember how worthless you are because of that. I'm not. Nobody is. Someone didn't reciprocate the feelings you had for them. It's their right, and it's not the end of the world, and it doesn't mean that you are not worthy. That I am not worthy. I'm living my life to my values. I'm investing in myself. I'm being the best person I can. I'm trying to leave the world a better place every day behind me, making people laugh, smile, saying something nice, being supportive, being authentic, being honest, not hiding things. When I'm angry, I tell people I'm angry. When I'm sad, frustrated, I tell them too. It's not about being a happy chappy 100% of the time, but being authentic with people. This is how you make, in my humble opinion, this is how you make the world a better place. And not trying to mold things for however you do it, you want the outcome to be, but just by being yourself because this is what you believe in. And I think this is the stage I'm at right now where I'm able to say hi to someone that I had a lot of I don't even know the word, anger, frustration, spite with, and it's like being able to be honest, now that I look at it, I probably I don't think I would have been happy with the version of myself I was back then. I don't think I am happy with that, but what I am happy about is the progress I've made. And don't get me wrong, the last few days, so that was Thursday, we are now Sunday, every day for the past 4 days then I've had this voice in my head saying, oh, text her, message her, you had a nice chat, you're feeling better, she's gonna like you. It's like, and instead of being like, no, stop thinking that, blah, blah, you're so stupid, I'm like, yeah, that'd be funny, that'd be a fairy tale, but I'm not gonna do that because that's not healthy. And that's not what the future version of me would like. The future version of me would like me to focus on myself, and keep working at myself, keep growing. And it's not even just a future me. I don't know if you remember from a few episodes ago that I now carry on my phone a picture of me as a little kid. And this kid would be so disappointed if I was judgmental toward myself and if I didn't let myself be a human. And so instead of judging me and beat myself down for the feelings that pop up in my brain, I acknowledge them and I go, okay, yeah, indeed, that would be nice. But this is real life. So whatever happens on the outside, I've got no control over it. The only thing I can control is being me. And this is what I need to do. Focus on me. Keep doing the podcast. Keep putting a bit of money on the side every week. All of that. So that's, even though it's been in my head a lot, that I only did that because I have got an expectation in return, I know that this is probably my Sigma trying to convince me that I'm doing bad. Whereas now I'm just doing what a normal human being do. And so I'm grateful for all the growth that all the work that I've been doing in the last year or so since I've gone back to therapy, and being able to recognize it now and having the tools to help myself and help future me and help past me, and navigating the last few days, because it's a trap I would have easily fallen into in the past. And to be fair, if I did, I'm only human. There would have been another lesson. But it looks like I've learnt from the past, and not saying I don't need any other lesson, but for now, I've been able to not fall into the trap, which is good. Go me. So I wanted to reflect and express some gratitude on basically my behavior. Even on Saturday, I think something went not my way, let's call it that way, at work. And I was frustrating. I was pretty pissed off. I really wanted to tell one of my friends some nasty words, because I thought what was happening was really stupid and unnecessary, etc. But then I don't want to say I kept my cool. I was boiling inside, but I acknowledged it. And I had this internal debate where it was like, okay, you can bring that up and get into an argument with your friend, with one of your best friends that's always been there for you, even though at the time I thought I was right and I was within my right to tell them off for whatever they did. Or you can sleep on it, see how you feel tomorrow, and either talk about it once you are calmer, or not talk about it at all. And I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna sleep on it. It's frustrating, but I'm very frustrated, but I'm gonna sleep on it, see how I feel tomorrow, and I'll bring it up in a much more tempered way. And I woke up and I was like, that was just so silly, because basically what happened is I just had to work an extra hour, and I was tired, and I wanted to go home, which is why I was frustrated. But even though I disagree with the choice my friend made at work, that friend is my superior. They're my manager. So even though I disagreed with it a lot, at the end of the day, it was only an extra hour for me. And it was not worth jeopardizing our friendship. just because I was tired. So I'm glad that I waited, because now with a cold head, I don't even care. It doesn't matter. I'm only mentioning it because I'm doing this reflection thing with you guys, and I gotta be honest about how I feel. But that shows progress. So go me again. And I think there's one last thing I want to talk about before I wrap it up. Is I mentioned last week what to do, like that my mom is coming in now 4 days. She'll be here with her partner, and the issue I had with her partner 6 months ago, when I was at their house on holidays. And I think I found this, not the solution, but I think I found a way to be in line with my own behavior without creating more unnecessary drama. So if you remember, he basically had he yelled at me in a very disrespectful way, like someone would yell at 6 years old. It opened back, it opened a scar from a wound that I had when I was younger from my dad's partner this time that had done the same thing, and that probably shaped me for, unfortunately, well, for good or worse, for my whole life. And unfortunately, my mom's partner didn't apologize or acknowledge it. And I was worried that if I moved on without acknowledging it, this is me enabling him to do this again in the future. So it's not about getting revenge or who's right, who's wrong. It's about protecting myself in the future by not letting the opportunity for this to happen again. So I think I've decided on the fact that I'm not expecting an apology anymore, and I forgive him. He's, in my eyes, he's forgiven. He was going through a hard time. I don't condone what he did. I disagree with it, but someone has to be the bigger man, and if that's me, that's fine. However, I think I am gonna tell him. I'm gonna need to have a chat with him and tell him that the way he acted has hurt me a lot, and that I'm not expecting apologies, and it's probably too late anyway, but letting him know that this was the first and last time, and not in a threatening way, but I just have to protect myself and explain to him that if this happens again, he will never ever see me again, just because I don't have time for this. I don't have time to be yelled at. I'm 36. I'm be 37 this year. It's like I don't accept anyone. No one. I'm too old and I'm too grown up. If you got something to tell me, something you really disagree with, you can tell me all you want. Just do it respectfully. I think I'm smart enough to have a conversation with anyone. And yeah, this is what I'm going with it. So I don't really know how I'm going to bring it up, but I'm going to try, and hopefully it's not going to start anything huge or any drama. We'll see. I guess we'll know next week. So yeah, that's it. That's my week. I think the biggest takeout of this week is that even when time is hard and it feels like you're not making progress, or like you're trying very hard and you're doing the right things, but you're not getting better, and you keep doing the right thing, you're not getting better, eventually you will get better, and you look back on everything that you've done being like, thank you. I'm so glad that 4 years ago me went looking for help. I'm so glad that I didn't give up on getting help. I'm so glad that even 6 months ago I was still reflecting on my life. I'm so grateful for even last week, Christmas, even thinking that I have done so much work and I deserved some peace and I wanted to see results, that I'm so grateful that I didn't give up and I kept doing that work, so that today it would have been better if it was like it could have been tomorrow, next week, next month, next year until I feel better. But right now I feel better, and I have no doubt that I'm gonna have my down moments again and my moments of doubts. The only thing I'm sure about is how the only thing I'm certain about is how uncertain the future is. So keep doing the right thing every day. Show up for yourself, for your future self, and as a thank you to your past self that did the work. Don't give up. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That podcast, even though it can feel like a bit of a chore at times, is so helpful and so meaningful to me. So even though I call you guys and I've got 0 views right now, I'm gonna keep doing it because I'm doing this for me, but I'm glad and I hope it can help you. See you next week.